Hey y'all. I'm just checking in after like follow up from last week,
Yeah, yeah.
and I have been taking the Melissa
Mm-hmm.
all week, actually a couple times a day, pretty high dosage,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that it is definitely helping.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what I sort of noticed is my focus seemed less. I was describing it as kind of like feeling like grumpy old man about
Uh-huh.
how
Yeah,
hot it was
yeah, yeah,
getting
yeah, yeah.
so fast, and I feel like I my focus shifted off of that, and my body started to get really loud in places like old injuries, just almost the whole week. Like that has been taking the mic from
Hmm.
what I was previously talking about. I did the Melissa internally, and I've been breathing the cystis, and I just got this adaptive immunity blend that you
Yes,
sent
yes. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
today. I just cracked that open. Thank you so much for sending that.
Yeah. So you can inhale that and just awareness on the heart. Like, you could do front heart, back heart, or just the front heart. And I mean, that will shift things. That's a pretty potent little blend. And so it will help regulate the thymus, and it over a period of time it kind of helps with like the sense of well-being. It's doing something very similar to like what the Melissa is doing, but a little bit stronger. Like the Melissa is strong because you're taking it internally, but if you were just inhaling the Melissa on the front back heart, this blend would be a little bit stronger for that. So I actually do both. I take Melissa internally and then I use this blend. I don't do it every day. I mean, I do the Melissa every day, but I don't do the other one every day. But whenever I do, I mean, I feel it. Like you know what I mean. It takes down. Um, like a tension and agitation in the body that just nothing else seems to touch sometimes. And like a lot of times, I'm not even aware that it's there until it's gone. And then I was like, oh God, thank God that was gone. And after a while, you get to kind of like recognize it. But give me an idea of the old injuries, what's popping up and like what's happening with them.
They just seem really loud. Like I don't. I have a pretty physical job, and
Mhm.
um, I've been just doing that normally, but I haven't been injured recently or anything. It just seems like all the old ones just got
Right. Like give me
hit.
an idea. Is it like shoulder, back, hips,
My
spine?
shoulder, which I broke probably 20 years ago and separated the shoulder from the clavicle,
Mhm.
that hasn't really like been on my radar in a long time, and it
Mhm.
has been like the Dickens how much
Hmm.
it's been hurting the last 5 days. And I don't know what, like I didn't do anything that should have exacerbated it.
Yeah. And allergies are okay. Allergies are all in control and all
Yeah,
that.
that's been pretty good for like a month or so now.
So shoulder and where else?
Um, Left jaw, uh, that's also kind of old injury and has always been sort of a little out of whack, and it's also been real loud recently. Um, my left arm, my left forearm from a major laceration from my near death experience, also about 20 years ago. That also has been hurting really bad this last week. I don't know. It's just like everything, the volume just turned up on old injuries.
Hmm.
And I didn't know if it was that, my what you recommended worked really well, and then like the next thing in line just started to come up.
Yeah, hard to say. So you're taking the Melissa. I'm just like thinking this out for a second. Give me a sec. Okay, for whatever reason, um, uh, hmm. For whatever reason, it looks like you lost a little tone in the parasympathetic part of the nervous system, and so rest and repair. And could be that you're shifting the immune system around a little bit. I mean, it could be that, but has there been any? Like, this is a weird thing. Has there been any weird dreams or dreams that have been popping up?
Um, I have a recurring dream that I usually, when I wake up, I'm not aware of having dreamt. Never mind specifics.
Right.
I have been aware of like a recurring dream that came up. It seems like a really positive dream.
Mm-hmm.
And other than that, like I don't remember any specific dreams. I haven't been sleeping super great.
Okay. Let's have let's just go old school and like have you inhale some marjoram like tonight, like when you're getting ready to go to bed, like 30, 40 inhalations. Just inhale it until you feel like groggy and let it knock yourself out. And that's probably going to balance out the hold on, just like I think so I kind of got a little hit on something. Yeah, you're releasing something. 20 years ago, huh? Let's have you do that. Like go through and inhale the marjoram and do 30, 40 inhalations or a little bit longer if you can, and then just let it conk you out. And by tomorrow night, email us and let me know how you're doing with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that that's the thing with that adaptive immunity is it changes like how you interact with the environment kind of, and it also kind of redirects something that is like a negative response that sometimes it gets directed at the body, it gets like overstimulated, and when everything's kind of calming down, it looks like it's releasing a pattern of some sort to me. If I sit with it longer, I could probably almost even tell you the pattern. Like I'm getting little flashes of it, but I can't quite grasp on something just yet. But I'll keep looking at it a little bit tonight, and if I see something, I'll let you know. But let me know how you're doing tomorrow, because ideally, like even if we're releasing something, that if we don't have to like re-experience it or go through all the little details and stuff, man, it's a blessing. like Chris's person who, was having to cry. Sometimes that's a big shift. And I can remember times where Master Choa would do a healing on somebody and he'd go into the other room and cry. Just go and cry. Just cry it out. Because it is like a little bit of a reset for the nervous system and the mental body, and very kind of soothing and releasing to the emotional body. It doesn't always end up having to be like a cry. Like, I don't know that yours is a trauma. I think it's just a pattern. Like the flashes I did, it just looked like a pattern of some sort. And so let's just keep everything balanced as it's happening, because a lot of times when you put something like the autonomic nervous system in balance, it's really when you can change, you can harness cycles in the body and produce something like more stability. And so sometimes what it does is it breaks down like emotional patterns. It's not something that we like choose, but sometimes it's just a byproduct of a lot of exposures to certain events, and we just end up having this like particular pattern. And it looks like that's what it's doing. It's breaking up some sort of pattern. And anytime you have a shift in the body, it can hit some of your weak spots. For you, it's your spots that you said, but if I was going through the same process, it would be my back and my knees, and you know what I mean? Same thing. It just goes to my weak spots. And so the way to stabilize that out a little bit, different times you can use different things, but for you, I think marjorum's the thing.
Look it up. I'll give that a shot.
Yeah, but like just give it one day and then email us and let us know.
So I'm kind of just watching to see, like, did I get to sleep and sleep a little bit better? And then did the old injuries, did the volume turn down a little bit?
Wait, say that again?
So I'm just watching to see, like, do I sleep better tonight with that? And then, like,
yeah, because like I mean, I don't mind explaining this, but like a lot of times it doesn't make sense. But like I'll try to, because it's not necessarily about a pattern. It's kind of almost like how we energetically interact with the environment and the inner world. And there's times where the energy kind of moves inward, towards the spine. And then there's times where it emanates out. So a lot of times we're talking about, how things come in and then things go out. So sometimes in these emotional patterns that the cycle gets stuck going either one direction or the other. And the reason I'm saying marjoram here is marjoram helps with the outward expression. And then sometimes other things would help with the inward expression. But when you go through and you do that, it is like a deep release. Like whenever you really break an emotional pattern or release like some deep emotional thing, it usually comes out of the spinal cord, like the spinal cord and the brain, but a lot of it comes out of the spinal cord. And so I haven't really talked about the technique on how to accelerate that because it's really intense. And so here, I just want to like reestablish like the outward movement, because I think part of what's happening is the energy moving outward is getting stuck, and then it's hitting your spots.
Okay.
Yeah. And so like, let's just see if it balances out. Like, we were just talking with Chris, like Tarragon doesn't necessarily do either the inward or the outward. And so it's very kind of stabilizing and soothing and everything. And marjoram can be soothing, but it's soothing because it helps to reestablish that outward expression. And you tend to have more energy going inward than outward. And so it's just helping to like open that up. Like it looks like it shifted, but it's like stuck.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it probably doesn't need very much treatment, like maybe a day, and then we'll see.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm kind of wired that way too. Like more things go more inward than outward. And so I always have to like over exaggerate when I do that process about the outward motion. And, you know, it's not just like the environment, it's like old memories, it's old events, it's old situations, you know, how there was an interaction there. You know, people either tend to externalize it or internalize it. And so a lot of times on the spiritual path, more people tend to internalize it than externalize it. You know, the normal like public tends to more externalize it. And so, yeah, let's just open up that pathway a little bit and let's see what happens for you.
Okay, will do. Thank you.
Yeah.
And quick clarification for the adaptive immunity, you said front heart and back heart. Actually, you said front heart, back heart. Would that be front heart, then back heart,
Yeah.
or together?
Front heart, then back heart.
Doesn't matter what time of day that's done?
It doesn't, but it probably is better for you to do it at night just because you can lay down and, you know, not have to be at work or go to work. Or sometimes if I do that really intensely in the morning, I have this joke with Samantha. I was like, I don't want to go to school today, you know, because you kind of shift something. And I just like, I just want to lay and let it shift. And so, you know, if you do it at nighttime, you can just go to bed or lay down and relax.
So would Troy do both at night then, potentially? I don't know, I'm just.
The Marjoram could be either, but I would probably do it at nighttime, again, just because the Marjoram should also help his sleep. And so, you know, it would also be trying to help benefit the sleep cycle.
And then go ahead, Susan.